topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's so good to be back home. Yes, good to be back home. I'm from Dallas. I went to high school at Hillcrest High School. I went to a little college in Austin called University of Texas. Go Horns. They're in the Sweet 16. And today, we have got probably one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite shows is because you all asked for it. Everybody wanted to know about Medicare and Medicaid and health insurance. We were so lucky to find two women who are tops in their field. And the most important thing is, you know, when you're buying health care, especially Medicare, you want to be able to trust the people you're working with. And just a real fast story before I bring on our expert. I got a call this week from an insurance company that has watched the show, and they actually watched Sharon and Lynn, your Medicare gals, do the show. So they wanted a show, which is we can't do. And they said, I got to tell you, those ladies really knew what they were talking about. Now, you know, when a competitor calls, they always got to throw some, bad things in there. But for them, a competitor to say they really know what they're talking about, and that's what we're offering you. We're going to educate you today, and we're giving you somebody so you don't have to go look up who's got the best website for you to choose who your agent's going to be. So let me welcome you. God, she is so good. And we're missing her partner today. Let's welcome Sharon Luker, your Medicare gals. Hi, Sharon.
Happy spring, Steve.
Yeah.
I think yesterday was the first day of spring, huh?
It was. You know what, Sharon? You are so smart when it comes to healthcare. And I got to tell you, I know you've been doing this for a long time.
I'll pat myself on the back.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that we have somebody that knows her stuff, because you're teaching it to all of our listeners and all of our viewers. So I'm sorry Lynn couldn't be here today. Lynn's not feeling well. But tell us about yourself and your company.
Okay. Well, as you said, we're known as your Medicare gals. And Lynn Tim, who is under the weather today, is usually here with me, but I'm stepping in. And we are both insurance agents that have been practicing for many, many years. And yeah, I mean,
you don't want to say.
Well, this is what I tell people. I won't tell your age, but I will say that I am on Medicare. So
okay.
That gives it away.
You and me both.
Yeah, I know. So we would run into each other. We've known each other about, 8-10 years. And we were talking one day. We live in the same city. We just live about a mile apart. And we were talking about all the questions that we get about Medicare. And we decided that we should, work together, be a community resource, although we have clients all over the country. And, it's always good to have someone when I don't know something or I'm unsure, I can call her, she can call me. We have our own individual practices. And both of us do things besides Medicare. We are insurance agents, and that's, health insurance, long-term care insurance, cancer insurance, life insurance. everything but property and casualty.
Well, I want you, because you'll be back with us again next month. When you said life insurance, we get so many calls,
Oh,
people wanting to know about life insurance,
oh,
annuities, and maybe we could spend like half the show talking about life insurance and
sure,
annuities.
sure,
Uh,
sure. Love
yeah,
to.
in fact, I was surprised, and maybe they knew, they looked you up and knew you do life insurance, and it was like the last, I guess, 10 days we've had all these people who have called us going, how come you don't have a life insurance expert?
Oh,
Oh, but that's okay. I told them we will have somebody, and we
okay,
already do. But
okay.
so this is really important because there is so much misinformation out there about Medicare. And I told you before we came on the air, a lot of these people think some of the stuff out there is too good to be true.
Yes. Well, so as Steve and I know, we love Medicare.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I really
I do
do.
too.
And I'm an HMO. So,
Yeah, and that's even worse. No,
yes, you're right. You're right.
you have to get referrals. So the thing that I want to tell everyone is, and this, I want to make this very clear. Medicare does not pay for everything. Medicare does not pay for everything. People tell me all the time, they go, Sharon, I paid my taxes all these years. Why isn't everything covered? Well, now you're talking universal health insurance, health coverage.
Right.
And if you want that, you can go to Canada. We as a country cannot afford to pay for everything for all the Medicare people. And as we know, medical expenses have gotten really high. So if you're a little bit younger listening to this, you need to be planning. You will be coming out of pocket. There are ways to fill some of the holes, but it will not pay for everything. Okay. So let me give you an example. I got my little list here, and this sometimes surprises people. Okay. So when you go on Medicare, it does not pay for dental. It does not pay for dental.
Yes, it does
So,
not.
and that includes getting your teeth pulled. My dad, you'll hear me say, my dad's 96 years old, and he had to go have some teeth pulled, and Medicare did not cover it. He had to pay for that out of his own pocket. But you can buy a dental plan, which Lynn
Right.
and I can talk to you about. The big thing that what a lot of people don't realize is it does not pay for long-term care expenses. Okay. So there is a little bit where it crosses. So if let's say in order for it to pay, there's long-term care expenses like home health care, assisted living, nursing home, where it's more what the buzzword is, it's called custodial care. We're just
Right.
kind of taking care of you. We are not doing any health type. There aren't doctors that are taking care of you. So when you're on Medicare, and let's say you're in the hospital and now you need rehab. So you are moving into a facility for rehab. Now, you have to have, been in the hospital at least 3 days. There's some criteria with this, but rehab is very short. It's like 20 days, and then you're gonna pay a per day fee. And I forgot, I had it here. I think it's about $170 a day.
That's not
So,
much, though, is it?
well, it'll add up per day. Per day. Where is my? I had that in front of me. So some of it will be covered by Medicare. So here's the crucial thing you've got to think of. Are you getting better? So if you're in rehab and you're not getting better, and they say to you, you know what, you've had a stroke, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get better. You're not, the help that we're giving you, you're not getting better. In that case, they will ask you to move to another facility or move back home, is what you hear a lot. Move back home or do something. And Medicare will deny paying on it if you're not getting better. So that is kind of the trigger. And that's true for anything with Medicare. If you're getting physical therapy and you're not getting better, they want you to move out. so to speak.
Sharon,
Go
am
ahead.
I just lucky? We're going to talk about the difference between HMO and PPO, but am I just lucky that I don't remember the last time I had to stick my hand in my pocket to pay for any of my medications? And I've been pretty lucky with the doctors, because I can't choose my doctors, which everybody loves about PPO. But I've had some really good luck with orthopedic surgeons. And so where am I missing at with the HMO?
Well, it depends on the plan that you're on, okay? Because you could live in the same city and be who you are, and an HMO by insurance company XYZ is different than insurance company with XYZ. So in certain parts of the country, certain doctors won't take HMOs, but they'll take the
Mm,
PPOs. So you are very lucky in that you live in an area and you're on a good HMO. And HMOs aren't bad because the advantage of the HMOs are, like you said, you don't have to pay for a lot. The copays are much lower. The max out of pocket is much lower, but you've got a network. And the deal is on the network, you take one step out of the network, you're usually on the hook for the expense.
yes.
So where an HMO might really cause problems is if you travel, because now you've
Oh,
gone on,
yes.
yes, now you've gone on a network. Although I know of one company that on their HMO plan, they have a travel benefit, okay, that you can use it outside of the state that you're in. So it really depends, like we've talked about before. If you are going on a plan, we want to look at your doctors, we want to look at your meds, we want to look at the hospitals. Those are the three things that I look at, and I want to make sure that, everything that you have is covered by your plan. Does that
Are
help?
you considered an independent agent?
Yes. Yes.
So you
So,
have a lot of different
yes.
insurance companies that you
Yes.
represent.
Yes. So one good thing about working with Lynn and I are we're very consultative. When you call me up, I don't have any preconceived idea what I'm going to recommend to you. I start asking the questions. I see who you are. I see what the hot buttons are. I look at your doctors. There's some leading questions that will tell me, do you own a Mercedes? Do you not? I mean, that tells kind of the type of person that you might be. And because we represent all the companies, I have no idea what company I'm going to represent. Now, I will say this, that every year when they come out with the new plans in the fall, Lynn and I look at both of the plans, and sometimes there's a plan that stands out like, wow, this year, this company's stepping up, or this year, they're not stepping up. Which reminds me, if you're on an Advantage plan come the fall and you get your information, read it, because it changes every year.
Do you, I just got a question from a viewer. They want to know, can they come in, make an appointment to see you, and you look over their policy and see if they have the right policy?
Yes, yes. So if we're in the Dallas Fort Worth area. We're up in Plano for people that know that, and we definitely can meet with you. Or if just tell us what policy you're on. We know about the
Can
different
they
policies.
Zoom? Do you do
You can,
Zooming at
oh
all?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can do Zoom. With COVID, I got comfortable not seeing people, and because you can get a lot done. And if you just tell me the policy, what I tell people is pull out your card, take a picture
Okay.
of your card and send it to me, and I will tell you what you're on. I'll tell you what people don't know what plan, people don't even know what company. But just know that you can't change if you're on an Advantage plan. You can't change throughout the year unless
Right.
there's certain things that are going on. So right now we're in a period where you can. Open enrollment is in the fall. And to your point, I was just talking to someone yesterday that wanted me to review everything and go over the plans. And I was like, you know what? the new plans aren't going to be out to the fall. I don't want to tell you that this plan acts like this when in the fall it may change. So you call
Right.
me in August, when the new plans are starting to come out, or well, really we can start discussing the plans October 1st, but I want to deal with current data for your plan.
Let me ask you a very serious question since we're talking about health. Now, remember, Sharon is in the Dallas area, actually Plano, and I'm in the Florida area. But I
Yeah.
have to ask you something, Sharon. So, is Campese's pizza bad for your stomach?
Well, let me tell you this, Stephen. It's bad for my butt.
Oh, okay.
It's bad for my hips.
I miss my Campese's pizza.
So I don't eat that too often, When we
Okay,
get
you're
older, yeah, I'm trying to be good these days,
okay. So we got questions coming in, and I've got
Okay.
questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
I got my situation. I did not know about open enrollment, and I got to tell you, I got to think there's more people out there like me, because before you turn 65, you really aren't thinking about it, and I didn't. And I got to tell you, I missed an entire year because I came in too late. And the moral to the story is you got to get with Sharon and Lynn early and learn what you have coming to you. You worked hard for this.
Well, let me comment on that. And this is where the disconnect is happening. Most people, retirement used to be age 65.
Right.
You would go on Social Security at age 65, and then you would go on Medicare at age 65, and everyone retired at age 65. And now that they've extended the retirement age to it's almost 67 now, they did not change that for Medicare. It's still 65. So you're going along and you're working and you're thinking everything is fine, because unless you're on Social Security, they do not notify you. They don't, put up their hand and go, "Hey, Steve, sign
They
up for
don't send you a mailer in the
not
mail.
anything." So we try and get the word out. 6 months, 3 months before you turn 65, you need to start paying attention. And
Yes.
that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go on Medicare at 65. If you're working for a company, the company plan may be better, but Medicare may be better for you too. So, yes, that's a common mistake.
Well, I got to tell you, I love my Medicare. I love the fact that I think I'm on 3 or 4 meds right now, and like I'm telling you, now you do have to pay for some of them, but it's a very small amount. But I love the fact, and you know what? I don't know who the good doctors are or not. All I know is the ones that I had to use, because I did have hip, and I had hip replacement, knee replacement. Both of my doctors were excellent, excellent. And I guess I tell you, it's the only thing I guess is a hassle is you have to call your primary to get a specialist, someone in the group.
So, Steve, let me ask you something. When you had your hip replaced, did you hit your max out of pocket expense on your plan?
All I know is I didn't get a bill. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, then you didn't, because a lot of people get really afraid. They'll see maximum out of pockets for Advantage plans of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. They go, "I can't pay that every year." Well, the chances of you hitting that's why I asked that. You had a hip replacement and you didn't hit your max out of pocket.
No.
So it's very difficult to do that.
Yes, that's a great point. And I think as you get older, God, everything starts going wrong. And it's really a comfort feeling knowing that you've got doctors out there, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Like I said, I love Medicare. I love what you and Lynn do. What is a person? when should they come sit down and talk to you? At what age?
Well, we see people, you'll start getting things in the mail about 6 months before you turn 65. Um,
Who are
you,
those coming from?
we, it's Big Brother out there. I
Oh,
I can get lists of people who are turning 65. I have a list of people who are turning 65 in my area. There's ways to get that information. Okay.
Tom Selleck has one. He's
And,
got a list.
and all of the insurance companies have it. A lot of the agents have it. That's why you get bombarded. We all know you're turning 65. I can even narrow it down and find out who's turning 65 on my street that I live on, that in my area. So you cannot sign up for Medicare until 3 months before the month of your birthday.
Right.
So I would say, 4 months out, 5 months out, start making a decision, start looking at it before you turn 65.
And I got to tell you, long-term care, I don't know. I don't think people on their own think about how expensive long-care term could be.
Well, and that's why you'll see on the banner. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about long-term care. Because Medicare does not pay for it. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we are pretty lucky in that facilities like assisted living and nursing homes are, well, I'm going to say relatively cheap. They're relatively cheap compared to the rest of the country, but it can go like $6,000 a month per person. So you could be out if a couple is both in a facility, they could be paying $12,000 out of pocket. Okay.
That's a lot.
Per month.
Yes.
And now if you go on Medicaid will help pay for that, but that comes with its own problems. You have to be in a Medicaid facility. You have to get accepted to Medicaid. You have to spend down. If you look at the banner on the website, I put up, usually we don't have this. So I put up I have a separate website for long-term care because that's one of my other specialties. You can go on that website and you can go into your state, your city, and you can find out what the average cost is for a nursing home, for assisted living, for home health care. One thing that I do want to say is people think this is old person insurance. It is not. It's something like, gosh, I should know this. I think it's like 40%, 45% of people using long-term care under the age of 65. Or maybe
Wow.
it was like 50, because you have car accidents,
Yes.
you have heart attacks. So if you want to get a feel, and the other thing is about 70 to 80% of claims on a long-term care insurance policy are for home health care.
Wow.
So what a policy does is a long-term care insurance policy, and there's numerous ways to skin the cat. It's like buying a car. You can go buy a Mercedes and you're going to pay a lot of money. You can buy a plan that's more catastrophic. You can buy a plan that will just cover home health care. That's why it's even more important that you talk to an agent that specializes in this, because they will guide you to the possibilities. There now is popular is buying long-term care insurance with a life insurance policy.
Oh.
So if you don't use the policy, then at least the life insurance would kick in. So I look for people, if they have life insurance policies, we can roll that life into another life with long-term care. There are annuities that extend benefits. There are individual plans that will pay, and you can structure it any way you want. And on the banner that you see, my website, ltcplanningconsultants.com, that's a really good place, a really good resource to find out about long-term care and expenses and cost. And a lot of the professionals in town use it for when talking to people.
So when it comes to long-term care, does that also include home care?
Yes.
Where it's not long-term?
Right. Well, okay. So let's talk about a few things. So when you go on claim, You can't just raise your hand and say, I'm old, I can't cook for myself. You have to be unable to perform. This, I'm going to use the buzzwords. It's 2 out of 6 activities of daily living, like eating, like bathing, continence. We call it transferring. That's being able to get from one chair to the other. So you will get assessed, or severe cognitive impairment like Alzheimer's. So you will get assessed to see whether you can go on claim and for it to pay out. Now, the other thing I want people to know is you can't just raise your hand and say, I want a long-term care insurance policy. You have to qualify, meaning they're going to ask medical questions. They will look at height, weight. They will, if you're on any sort of physical therapy, like I was working with a client who had physical therapy on her thumb, and she got, I will say, denied, or they said, put it on hold until that physical therapy is done. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through to see if you even qualify. But there are different qualifications depending on what type of policy you're buying, the hybrid life insurance, with long-term care, or the straight long-term care. Some are guarantee issue where they don't even ask medical questions.
I don't know what's going on in Texas with health insurance companies and life insurance companies. Are they pretty much solid financially? Because here in Florida, some of them are going out of business.
No, we're not really having that problem. They do. I have to kind of be careful when I talk about this. There is a state guarantee fund in all states that helps out if an insurance company goes under. And it's very hard for an insurance company to go under. The regulators will come in and try and force another company to buy that company. But yeah. So, but if your company is having problems and it gets taken over, plan on a rate increase. That's going to happen. Because for whatever reason, that insurance company couldn't make it happen. And I'm going to say this, the rate increases, let's talk about that. It's the elephant in the room. The rate increases on current long-term care policies have been horrible. I mean, horrible. Because way back when, I've been doing that like 20 years, way back when, they were giving so much benefit for so little money. And they were fairly new policies, and they hadn't gone into claims. And the problem that happened with long-term care insurance policy is, one, interest rates. Interest rates went down. This is the first time we've seen increased interest rates in, oh my gosh, a long, long time. The other thing is, we call it persistency levels. Persistency means usually when you buy some sort of policy, they count on a certain number of people just not paying and giving it up. Well, in long-term care insurance, that doesn't happen. They want, people are buying for a reason. So the persistency levels are high, meaning people don't give it up. And the other thing is, people are living longer. I mean, I tell people my dad is 96. Yesterday, someone said, oh, my dad's 94. My aunt is 98. People are living longer. They're not necessarily living healthier, but the older you get, that's the increased probability. My grandmother, for instance, lived 103. She left her home at age 98, and she needed care for 5 years. 5 years. I mean, we were at the point where she was running out of money, and we were going to have to put her on Medicaid, or the family was going to have to kick in.
Well, I know you work with a lot of seniors, and it's so sad what's going on with seniors that I think it came out last week that 70% of seniors live week to week. And it's sad, but you know what? We're going to try to help you. We can't lend you money, but we're going to try to help you find the best rates out there. And you can tell just listening to Sharon, and Lynn's the same way too, that these ladies know what they're doing, and they're out there to help you. That's when you're in this business, it's got to be important that you want to help people. And boy, Sharon, you've got so many things in your bag of tricks.
I know. I was telling someone the other day, I just want to go to an island and rest because, like Lynn and me, we kind of have big hearts, and
Yes.
and you can get engrossed in someone's issues, and you so want to help. My friends tell me I'm a fixer. I want to fix it.
You're a caretaker.
I am a caretaker. I am.
You are.
And so I might not be able to fix it, but I sure as heck can try and help you make it easier, because there's a lot of programs out there.
I just got somebody, William, in, where's he at? He's in Arlington, wants to know, do you also sell cemetery insurance?
No.
Okay.
That's well,
or
okay.
Funeral?
Well, okay. So let's William, if you're talking about we call it final expense, where you're buying.
Okay, I like your words better.
Final expense, where you buy a mini, maybe you buy $10,000, $20,000 life insurance that people buy it to pay for their burial costs, because burial costs can easily be $20,000 if you do the whole thing. Now, you can go, another type is you can go to the cemetery, and they offer where you kind of prepay your burial expenses. Okay.
Wow.
That is separate than the than the final expense, which we do that.
Well, I know that God, this show goes by so fast, Sharon, and I've still got so many more questions. The good news is you're going to be back with us again next month.
Yes.
And you know what? This time we got a lot of listeners and viewers who actually sent their questions in, and we're going to probably start asking more of that of you. If you have a question for Lynn or Sharon, send them over to our website, which is asktheexpertsradioshow.com, and we will give those questions to Lynn and Sharon for them to answer those, because it seems a lot of people are in their cars driving and this is that time, Sharon, where you can't find a pencils, when you need one.
Yes.
Give everybody your phone number, especially the people who are listening on radio and can't see the scroll.
So if you want to get information and learn how to contact us about Medicare issues, it's your Medicare Gals with an S.com, yourmedicaregals.com. If you wanted something on long-term care, which we just did that for this show, that is ltcplanningconsultants.com for long-term care only. My telephone number is 972-596-1318. And what else do we need, Stephen? I think that's it.
We've got your website, your phone number. And for those viewers who are watching the show, we've been scrolling that throughout the show, and we will do that also in the future.
Stephen, you can also go on your website and look at this again and see and get all the information.
You can go to iHeart. I'm glad you brought that up. You can go to iHeart, or you can go to Apple, and we've got a lot of keywords in there. Of course, Medicare is one of them, Dallas-Fort Worth. And we will be capturing these shows on both iHeart's library and Apple's library. So you can always go back, or you can go to YouTube, which I like to do, because for some reason, when I go to YouTube, the show is right there. I mean, we're right on the front page, and you can find tonight's show. But again, Sharon and Lynn, we got to get you back in. Will be with us, and we're just so blessed to have you guys.
Thank you. One other thing I want to quick tell you, Steve, is I found our show last time on your Facebook page.
Yes, yes. It's actually playing on Facebook right now.
Right. So you can go look it up. If you're in your car, you can go look it up on your on his Facebook page, and you can also look at it if you didn't get the number or the websites or anything.
You're the best, and tell Lynn, please get better, and we will see you again next month.
Okay.
Thank you, Sharon. And
Bye.
we'll be back with you next month or next week at the same time. We come on at 4:00 Central Time. I have to say that because it looks like we're starting to get calls and letters from around the country, even though we try to concentrate on the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But anyway, we will be back with you next week with more Ask the Experts. We've got some great people coming on next week. We will see you then. Have a great rest of the week and drive safe. See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.